Hey, what's going on everyone? Sorry if I sound a little weird, I have a cold. So a few videos of mine from like 6 months ago have been picking up traction for some reason. And people have been pointing out that the methods don't work anymore. So here's an updated guide for how to build circular structures as well as roofing out of stone and wood. By the way, these methods require no mods or even single console commands for that matter, and works in single as well as multiplayer. So the first thing that changed is a contraption that we need to quickly build to get this whole thing started. Just build a 1x1 square. Place 3/4 logs down on top of each other, connect them together with a full log, and then one more quarter log standing up this time to lock it in place. Now we can bring a full log down from the top and extend another one out from only one side of the contraption. When we cross a log like this through the beam coming down and go to stand it up, in this case the game sees the left side as an invalid snap point, so it's going to pull the log to the right. I want to point out here that any size log will work. Same thing as before, I'm going to cross this log through the one coming down, but use a quarter to pull it to the side. This is the whole mechanic of this build. After it slides over, I'm going to remove these two full logs because the one coming down needs to be placed first. And make sure to snap off the bottom, not the top of the quarter log. And we're just going to repeat the same process we just did, and repeat becomes a theme of every step in this video. Every time I move this log over, it's actually stacking inside of the first one. So a normal log will give you 4 points to snap off of, not including the corner roof thing they added, which becomes an issue, we'll talk about it later, but it's easily solved. I found for a circle, stacking this 8 times gives you the best bang for your buck appearance-wise, and the amount of effort required later. Now you can go much crazier than this, it's just a lot more work. Now that I've stacked this log 8 times, and I'm happy with that number in this case, our contraption can go. Here's the logs stacked inside of each other, floating in thin air. Now in the previous method, it used to be beneficial to place the first log and then another log 90 degrees from it to help find a perfect 45-degree angle. Now that they added the quarter roof, this kills the entire thing and you lose the free arrows. So, the corner roof log needs to go as well as the log 90 degrees from it from the first one. This first quarter of the circle is the most important to take your time on, because after we snap all the 8 logs in where we want them, the rest of the circle will snap off of these points. I found standing up in the center and putting the arrow 3/4 off of the center of the previous log seems to place the logs the best. Just take your time on the first quarter again, the rest is easy and becomes monotonous, but it's well worth it in the end for an awesome look. Now that I have all of these as evenly placed as I'd like, you can see that there's 8 logs per quarter, so 32 overall. And this is what I meant before, you can go much crazier for less gaps, but it turns into a lot of work later, especially when we start making stone floors and roofing. You'll see now the game auto-snaps the arrows, so the rest can almost just be spammed in the exact angles you had in the first quarter. Now be careful of this stupid thing, if you were spamming like I was, it's kind of inevitable, but if you're careful, you'll notice that you want the arrow to come off the middle like this. Not the one that's out front. So this is where we're at now, and it's starting to shape up, no pun intended. To make this foundation level, we need to pick up the logs coming down to the same elevation as the center. In my case, I could use quarter logs, but the rocks are quicker, and in the game's mind, rocks are the same height as a quarter log. And you're gonna notice from here until the end of the video, I'm going to speed up a lot of clips and do some heavy editing so it isn't an hour-long video, but I'll slow it down first and explain everything I'm doing. Now the foundation is level and you'll notice that the center doesn't look like it did in the intro. We'll fix that soon. To keep building this circular structure out of wood, the first step is to stack the middle again. And you'll notice I can keep standing these logs up inside of each other when the icon is on the ground. When we do the stones later, it's a little more tedious in this, but it's pretty much the same thing. When you've stacked them the same amount as we did in the beginning, so 8 in this case, it simply won't give you the icon anymore. And again, I'm going to speed this up, but the next step is to put a beam down on every single log coming from the middle. Now that that's done, we can snap every log just like before, but this time we can snap from the center out or outer walls in and spam it because we don't have to worry about the corner roof thing. This is what the second floor looks like, and the middle still doesn't appear like it did in the intro. The secret to the wood grain look in the intro is to add struts to every single beam. Again, a tedious process, but well worth it in the end. So this is what the struts look like done, and should now give the appearance like this above. Building a wooden circular roof is pretty self-explanatory, but I do want to point out that when we stack the logs before in the center, this can be done over and over. Meaning, you can do this 100 floors high if you want. And when you're done, just spam the diagonal logs in for a roof. I'm gonna start moving really quickly here. If we want to build this all out of stone, we obviously need to remove all the wood first, starting with all of the center pillars, and then all of the flooring. And surprisingly, our initial stacked beams go as well at this point. And again, I'm gonna speed this up, but it's important. First, place 1 stone at every point. After that, fill in every column, and I'm gonna really speed this up because it takes a lot of time. And that's what I meant in the beginning of the video. The more you stack, the more work needed, especially for this and then the beam and the roof. This is what the stone circle looks like completed, and although painfully tedious, it does look incredible. To start the stone roof, I'm going to place logs down around the perimeter like we did before. For the center pillar of this, we're going to be using stones. Now you don't want to do this, meaning going up a level early. Now you'll notice that there's a stacking icon above and below. Always use the lower icon. You'll get a circular middle over time, and just like the logs, it'll stop when you've reached the max. And then you need to do this 4 more times. Again, referring to my warning in the beginning, the more times you stack the first log, the more times you need to do this. And I'm definitely going to speed this way up because this takes a while by itself. So here's a column done, and it looks just as, if not cooler than the circle itself. At this point, all the snap points will work, and we need to do the same painfully long method we did for the floor and connect them all together. Now, in editing, I found be careful here. Sometimes it will let you build inside of an existing beam, which I'll show you how to fix in a little bit. But it's just wasted time for no reason. If you are careful in this step, and only build one by one, it'll save you a lot of time. Just like before, we're going to add a strut to every beam, and talking as an editor now rather than playing the game, I can see it's letting me place beams inside of beams. This didn't used to be a thing, and can probably be taken further, but it's going to kill you in this situation. All the outside walls can go at this point, and this is pretty cool by itself. I messed up one, but that can be fixed by adding a strut back. And now for the new bug in the game that wasn't a thing in the old method. I'm going to go around one by one removing struts, and the beam should fall. Now if you accidentally placed even 1 stone inside of an existing beam, it will not fall. We'll fix that in a second. Most of the beams now are dropped down to the ground to make the circular stone roof. Unfortunately though, there's some that got a beam built into the beam, so they need to go, and the only way to do this is brute force, unfortunately. And now that we have Endites triple stacked inside of each other beams gone, I'm gonna stack logs like we did before, where they failed to fall down. Now I am gonna be a lot more careful this time. I'm gonna do one at a time. As soon as I hear 4 stones connect to the beam, I'm gonna make sure I add a strut, not another stone inside, get rid of the log, and then the strut supporting it, which will make it drop down. Now after I did this for the rest of the bugged ones, this is what it looks like. It's a really tedious process, but it's worth it in the end. I just realized I really need to finish my castle series. I just become a crybaby when building in this game. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Until the next one, love you.